let's talk about Teams. So in this session, quite a different session than we normally do, since we're now sitting all at home and we're not joined physical together with each other. But in this session, we're going to talk a bit about Copilot. And I know, Michael, that you have been trying out Copilot a while in the past.
Yeah, for the past 2 weeks or so, I've had Copilot, and I'm a Mac user, and it gives me some headaches around it. But other than that, I'm actually think it's a really good tool. There's some.
But wouldn't Mac always give headache? No.
Yeah. Isn't that what you're buying?
Yeah, you could say so, but I actually have it for mine. But luckily for me, I am actually able to run the Office applications in a web browser in Edge, and in there it actually works fantastic with Copilot. So, and I think that in Teams as well, you can do the same thing in your web application that you are able to do in your application on your Mac or your desktop or whatever you're running. So yeah.
Mm.
No, but
Carsten, what about you? Have you tried out Copilot at all?
I've tried it, and in the MVP program we have access to one we can't really talk about, so a little. But the problem here is that my company is not 300 plus users, so buying the Copilot license is kind of not possible at the moment. So yeah.
And you just have a few additional licenses to play around with. So you mentioned the number 300. So maybe we should explain about the number 300. What is that about, Carsten?
Well, that is right now you can only buy the Copilot in batches of minimum 300 current license, and you can only buy it if you're an enterprise customer. So Copilot is Office 365 Copilot. It's important that when we are talking about Copilot today, we are talking about Microsoft Office 365 Copilot. That's kind of important here. And that's not on the CSP program, the program where you can buy smaller amount of license, where you can go down and buy one Teams Premium and so on. So it's only the enterprise businesses that can do that, and minimum 300 license with your first buy. So that's the limitation that we are having at the moment.
Yeah. So if you are a customer organization with more than 300 people, you can go and buy the license. And then, Michael, what are your experience about using Copilot for the couple of weeks?
But to be honest, it has been holidays, etc. But I actually try to use Copilot as much as possible in my daily work. One of the things for me is I really miss the opportunity to make the recaps and to make a decision, active log, or who's in charge of what, based on a Teams meeting. But because in my organization we don't have the Teams Premium license, I'm not able to do a recap, etc., of the meeting. And because of that, Copilot is not able to look that recap through and actually answer me based on that. So for me, in Teams, it doesn't make that much more effort to me to have the Copilot license for the moment. But if I'm writing an offer to somebody, the Copilot is here to help me out and do stuff for me and help me write the text, etc. Yeah, I would say that the text, you need to look it through, and you probably need to type in some other words sometimes. I know it's all about prompting the right wording, etc. But still, I catch some faults and flaws around the answers I'm getting from Copilot from time to time.
One very interesting thing was the other day I actually saw that some of the courses manufacturers are having courses now on how to prompt, how to make the right sentence,
exactly.
How to ask the right question. So that was kind of funny that they begin learning that to the end customer.
Yeah, but then my question is, would Copilot add on to the more and more people that are asking questions? Will it change over time so we'll be able to answer in the right way on every question it gets? I actually think it will learn more and more out of that as well. So, but it's all about prompting, but it's also that in real life, right? So if I'm not asking the right questions, I'm not getting the right answers. So it's basically it is a robot in a way. So
We
go
know it
back
from
to
our
Star
search
Wars.
engines. When we're going to Bing and ask for something, you need to search for
Yeah.
the right.
I want to go back, Michael, to the things that you said about you having the Copilot license, but you don't have the premium license, and then give you some limitations. So could you, I mean, what are the limitations right now? You want to use it in Teams?
Yes, and I can, to a certain point, I can get it to help me write a text, but I cannot get any things. It cannot pull any data out from the meetings. Basically, yeah, it can tell me how long have the meeting been, who have declined, who has have accepted, did it end before time, etc. Those type of stages it has, but because the meetings haven't been recorded and haven't been a recap into it, it cannot read out if I've stated that Lars, you are supposed to do this video editing tomorrow. Carsten, you should do this with your Quest goggles or something like that. It simply can't look up in that because it doesn't have any text to look at. And for me, it would be a really bummer to not have the Teams premium license. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get the premium license because that's not something we have in the company at the moment. But I think if I was Microsoft, I will definitely put a bundle package on instead of purchasing one license or another
Or
license.
move the recap, or at least make it available in the Copilot package.
I agree.
Yeah.
But again, it's fairly new. I don't know how many companies around the world who has Copilot at the moment. As Carsten mentioned, you need to be 300 people and you need to purchase that upfront for, and it's not cheap to have this Copilot running, but it comes in handy in my daily work. If I'm writing, as I mentioned, if I'm writing something for a customer in Word, it's really nice to just type in and you get a response back, and it can help you with using the right wording. Unfortunately,
I would like to have a comment on you said that it's not cheap, and just to be clear, it's just a matter of perspective.
Yes, it is.
And it shouldn't be a story, but I was sitting with a Microsoft guy, and we were doing a presentation for a couple of months ago before Copilot was GA, and it's very secret and all that stuff. And we were creating a PowerPoint for presentation we were doing. I think we were spending around 2 hours or something like that creating that one. And just for fun afterwards, we say, hey, Copilot, please create a presentation about, I can't remember, it was some Teams voice meeting or something related like that. And then within 15 minutes, we have a PowerPoint presentation that actually, I hate to say it, looks nicer, had all the key points and so on. So one could argue that two consultants working 2 hours compared to one consultant working for 15, 20 minutes.
And that's the thing. I sat down the other day. I was writing an offer for a customer of 3 dividable rooms. And I think normally a description like that, a function description, would take approximately an hour, something like that, with all the gears in and pictures, etc. And with Copilot, I spent half the time. I know I need to learn how to prompt, etc. And I need to look it after because it's not always stating things right that it looks out on the internet to get right. So, and the other thing is, I'm able to referring to attachment I have on my OneDrive, but unfortunately, it's not able to read the Danish yet in a file. I think it's able to read the Danish if it's in a recap, but I haven't got it to read it in a Word document yet. So every time I try that, it just gets back to me that the language is not supported yet. And I'm really looking forward to when it's happening, because then it will probably be even faster of writing offers and tenders for customers. And
it should be soon. The next wave of languages should be very soon GA for Microsoft. So yeah.
And as I'm running on I'm a Mac user, and my Outlook is not up running with Copilot yet. I assume in Outlook I will also have many nice features of responding quick back to people with a nice statement, because it looks at the text and it makes a suggestion of what's the right answer, right? So it is a co-pilot. It's somebody who's sitting next to you and helping you guide around. And I agree. Is it $40 a month? It's cheap if you compare to what you're getting. So
I think one of the big benefits is that since we are not native English language speakers, it will help us create a more, how do you say, sophisticated language in our mails. And again, of course, you shouldn't just let Copilot write your mail and then hit send. You need to look it through. I mean, there would be weird stuff going on in the start, but I think it creates a more fluent and nice language, especially for non-native speakers. I think that's a huge benefit.
And you get started. You get started if you're just sitting with that blank piece of paper. That's
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because we're not native English speaking, but because I have it on my Danish native language in my Word application, it actually prompts me with what do you want to write here, and we can do some stuff for you. And that it's written in Danish, and I was just like, but you only respond to the English. Why haven't you stated it in English? So there's some of these small things that I think for me, it's of course they pushed it out to Ignite. I understand that, and it is working, but it has some hiccups on the way. I have had some crashes as well on the Copilot and the Word application. But as soon as you're sending feedback to Microsoft, they will of course learn what the issue were, and they will look at it and they will get it fixed, because it's like all other software, right? So we need to see it up running, and everybody has been using ChatGPT for a year, something like that, maybe 1.5. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think we need to get started to actually get to see all the issues. I mean, we would probably have the same issues if we created something and we were in our small world.
Indeed.
Making the same questions, and then it's brought out to a much larger audience, and then they would be able to hit all the crashes as well. But maybe we should. Do you have time to show a bit, Michael? It could be fun just to open a Word document to see what would it actually take to bring in Copilot to a Word document.
Sure, I am. And the thing is, I just need to share my whole screen, I think, and it's fairly large. So I don't know if you can crop it down, but let's try.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes in this recording.
Yes. Share my screen. So.
And yeah, see your screen.
Yes.
That looks good.
Scale up the document a little.
Like this. Yeah, unfortunately, this prompt box is not gonna be any bigger, but it's asking me if I could type in what I want to generate a draft for, and then Copilot will help me get started. And let's just take something with a familiar product, and it's a Poly X70. And what's the best solution? What's needed? This is only like one liner, one sentence, and I press generate, and it collecting things together, and it's just starting. And people stating that this may take long, but you have to think of that needs to look certain places internally in documents at my OneDrive and in general, but also in on the web, and it looks at different web pages. So yeah.
And one very important thing that we need to say with time is that it looks internal, it works with internal data, but it will never send it out back, so nobody will learn from your data. That's very important. Copilot will use your internal data, but never send anything back out to the internet.
and this is
I would have been able to write that faster.
Yeah, but
that's a challenge.
It actually gives you the opportunity here to you can actually rewrite what you wanted, what you typed in the first place. But you can also just keep it, or you can ask it to do something differently. You can make it a thumbs up or thumbs down if it's wrong or right. You can press this button, then it will generate again and write it in a different way.
And I think actually, Michael, we should do a little sing and dance show for using the thumbs up and down, because that is the best way that we all get a better experience, is that feedback to Microsoft saying this was good, this was not good, and somebody's actually looking into the feedback. So
yeah, and you just type something in, great answer, and you can just send it in, and they will say thank you for you.
And then since it's Copilot, it could be fun just to dig into a few points of it. Are the things that it's writing actually true?
That's actually the thing. So I will just keep this one, and we all know this product pretty well. So let's start with it. And yes, it has a smart camera. Yes, it has high quality video and audio. Yes, it's 4K video resolution, 20 times zoom. Easy to zoom, compatible with most conference platforms such as Zoom, Teams, and Cisco WebEx. Yeah, it could call into zip calling, but it's not. It doesn't work with Cisco WebEx directly.
No, not native at least. You could do direct guest join.
Yeah, from a Teams meeting room. So
So you have to have in mind that Copilot is just collecting data and it's sending it back to you, right? So you need to look stuff through. It's really, really important here. And also video conference platform accounts such as Zoom, blah, blah, or Cisco WebEx that support 4K video. Again, we find another fault here. So it's definitely good at some part, and it's also good at how to install and set up a Poly X70. It's capable of stating some of it, but also
you need to have the basic knowledge. It's not enough that you say, I have no clue about video rooms. I'll just let Copilot give me a recipe or a to-do list, and I'll just follow it blind. So that's nice for us that are consultant and actually make a living for helping and designing meeting rooms. So
I would state that it's not. You cannot completely trust the Copilot. You have to look it through, because right here we saw some faults, right? And I just tapped this button up here with this Copilot, and I can actually ask some questions to it. I will just pull it out here in the middle, and I could actually state, please make a guide for installing Teams on this device. And if I type this, it will actually give me a response. And let's see if the response is true. It's again. Yeah, it should be connected to the internet. Go navigate to the settings menu, select the application, add application. You can only do this if it's up running, right? So what happens if it was in a Zoom state? Are you able to select the settings menu on the touch control panel?
No.
Oh, well, yeah, you can hit the settings, but you probably can't change
provider on it. No. So
exactly. So again, you cannot just rely on. I get it why it's giving me this information, because that's when it's brand new and I'm installing it. But normally it will come directly with Teams running up as you ordered it as a Teams SKU, right? But again, it's actually capable of doing a list of a go-to guide. Yes, I need to change something, but if I was supposed to make this how-to installation guide, I could not have done it faster. I just need to change some here and there, and that's it.
90% is done by Copilot, and makes perfect sense. Again, it is an assistant. It's not a duplicate of you. It's something that speed up the everyday task that takes time.
Exactly.
It gives you a great starting point.
Yeah.
And then you can adjust from there.
But the thing is, I actually kind of like the way it's setting everything up as well. So it gives you a headline, it gives you a small title, and then a small headline underneath, and you have this pinpointed out with stuff about the product, and then it makes you a step-by-step guide to how to install. And actually does it with all type of products you put in, and you can actually make a solution as well. And that solution you could actually ask it to, could you make a step-by-step guide of how to install? And we go out on the internet and looking for information about this, even internally at your documents, and it will bring it all together. And it's literally make you work less of creating content or creating data, because it's helping you putting the right stuff together. So
yeah, that's interesting. And then again, back to the price of it, would it make sense to spend the $30 a month for this? And probably not for everyone.
No.
But I think for us guys on this call, this would make a huge impact on the way that we work. So it would definitely be worth it, I would say.
Yeah, but again, it's I don't know if you saw when I hit this button over here. It takes some time before Copilot is up running. I think it's something we talked internally about it. We think it's something about the Azure power needs to spin some servers up, etc. Because you have to remember you're asking it specific questions about stuff, but it needs to look so many places. It's actually fast doing it, and it probably would be faster over time as well, because it gets more questions in and knows where to look, etc. But it's I really, really love this, and it's something that I'm gonna unfortunately I only have it for like I think it's 6 weeks. I'm gonna test it out, and that's it. But hopefully we're gonna have it in a full-blown package for everybody that wants it in Atea. So yeah.
But I think it's really cool. But also back to the time that it takes to run. Yes, it will be faster in the future when you have the PCs that actually have the NPU, which will be capable of running AI. So that will be really interesting what that means to the new PCs coming out.
Yeah, they need to have more power as well, right? So
but you'll see some of the new servers have the AI capabilities and processes and so on for handling that locally. So
it would be something that the business PCs they will probably be spec with larger processors, etc. for the future, I think, as well. So it's
That'll be a new argument for your boss.
I need a new laptop now.
yeah. I mean, it definitely is. I think
but it's, and if I save this document, I need to save it into my OneDrive. Otherwise, Copilot will not be able to look into it if I'm going to write a text where it can use something from. So if I'm stored on my local laptop, it will never be able to look into it. That's my experience so far, at least. And it makes sense because it's Azure engine that's running this. So try to make a structure of your document and put them in OneDrive, and also label them, because
labeling is important. Yeah.
Labeling is really important. I don't need to. It would be nice if I could look into all the other teams of my coworkers, what they've been doing, and I could read that out. But sometimes it's personal information, and with Copilot, you're actually able to look this up if it hasn't been labeled right. So
Copilot goes into everything that you have read access to. Everything in your own tenant that you have read access is available via Copilot. So, and again, it makes perfect sense that you have everything up in the cloud. But again, you shouldn't have any data stored locally on your machine or anything like that. Everything should be in OneDrive, SharePoint, and makes everybody happy.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say even more important that labeling your documents, because otherwise everyone would have access to your documents.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So that will be, I think the major one. using Copilot doesn't really open up for anything that wasn't there before.
Nope.
But now it's just so much easier to get access to it because you can simply just prompt it in the right way, which will then give you access to the documents or the
And I think
information.
there should be more adoption about storing this stuff and labeling stuff rather than prompting, because everybody can prompt. And that's my because if you prompt wrong, it will just make a question back to you, and it will have some automatically questions you can ask it as well afterwards. So it is fantastic. So
yeah, pretty cool. We are already way beyond the 15 minutes we allowed, so we think we gonna look if I can crop it down to below 15 minutes. But this was a short session about Copilot, so really, really interesting. There will be a lot more about that. So thank you so much for watching.